What was that?
Does anybody want to lead? Somebody who hasn't?
I can do it.
Okay, okay, go for it.
I can read the questions. Okay, let me just make my screen bigger. Okay, which of the following statements is correct? Let me just pull out my Word document where I put the answers.
I have A.
I have A also.
I couldn't decide between A and D.
I have
the
B. I put B. But I can read the answers. You guys want me to go through the answers too, all of them?
I don't think
no.
so, not unless we're having a discussion, right?
I think we're good.
So which one did you think it was, everyone?
I
A.
put B, but I'm not sure.
I have A.
Well, you know what? It's A actually, as I reading it right now, because it's the same thing that says in the PowerPoint.
Oh, and also there's one farther down that I think asked almost the same question, and the answer was the same. Yeah, number 13 asked practically close to the same question, and the answer is yeah. So A it is.
Okay.
And,
Points in time.
okay, number 2. The term inflation is used to describe a situation in which, and I put the overall level of prices in the economy is increasing.
I have A as well.
A.
Okay, number 3. In the basket of goods that is used to compute the consumer's price index, which of the following categories of consumers spending is the smallest? I have D.
Me too.
So do I.
Apparel. Us foreigners have a hard time reading some words. I'm like, apparel? Oh no, apparel.
Okay, change in quantity in quality of a good. I put can lead to either an increase or decrease in the value of a dollar.
So did I. D.
Hold on. I actually put B. Am I wrong?
Probably
Yeah.
you're right, or I don't know.
So in section 11, 1B at the very bottom, it says that it can lead to an increase or decrease in the value of dollar.
I had D as well.
And the substitution bias doesn't fit that description if you read the
Hold on.
textbook.
So in the quality change, though, it says in his, I was reading the PowerPoint where it says problems with the CPI. It says unmeasured quality change. And then it says improvements in the quality of goods in the basket increase the value of each dollar.
Yeah, increase but it can decrease it too.
Okay, his just didn't say decrease.
Mm.
And so that's why I didn't put it.
Because the quality can go up or down, which would increase or decrease.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess you're right about that. I didn't really think logically. I was just kind of reading through his PowerPoint. Sometimes I like using the PowerPoint more than the book because I just feel like the book it's harder to skim through.
It's more condensed.
I really like those PowerPoints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm good. I'm on the same page as you guys.
Okay, so number 5. If the cost of food and beverages increases by 10%, then other things the same, the CPI is likely to increase by about, I put 10% as well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to
I
figure that out.
wasn't sure either.
I have nothing on mine because I wasn't sure either.
I just put 10% as well. I figured that was like a give me question.
I hope so, because
Yeah, me too. I was like,
it's obvious because if you have a pie, if you have a
right?
pie chart like it shows, and you just increase 10%, then everything's going to increase 10%. Like, because the CPI is the measure of the whole chart. So
Yeah.
Okay, for are you guys okay to continue? For an imaginary economy, the value of the consumer price index was 140 in 2013, and the inflation rate was 5% between 2013 and 2014. The consumer price index in 2014 was 147. That's what I put.
I have B.
That too.
So I
I have B.
Yeah.
Okay, which of the following is the correct formula for calculating the consumer price index?
I have B.
B.
Me as well.
And that one I put A. Probably I'm wrong. You guys are right. Okay, the following table. The table below shows the prices of baseballs and baseball bats for 3 years. Assume the typical consumer's basket. Consider of 6 baseball and 2 baseball bats.
This one I cannot figure out.
I got
Me
A.
neither.
They also.
I didn't put any.
So if you watch his video in the discussion board, he does a problem exactly like this, and it explains it extremely well.
Oh, I need to go back and watch that.
Yeah, so he just sets up a spreadsheet, and I don't know if my handwriting is terrible when I'm taking these quizzes, but I'll try to put it in. So it looked like that, and you probably can't even read that.
It's actually pretty good.
Okay. So basically, what you do is to find the basket as a total, you would multiply 6 times 3.25, 6 times 3.75, and 6 times 4.50.
Right.
And you add each of those to their equivalent for the year times the baseball bat. So you multiply 2 times 75, 2 times 82,
Yeah.
2 times 96, and then you add those together. That gives you the basket. And then once you get the basket, you just have to find the CPI, which is basically dividing, like we just did, the current year by the base year times 100. And then once you find that, then you do the current year CPI minus the CPI of the last year over the CPI of the last year times 100%.
To find the inflation. Is that
That
what
will give you the inflation rates.
So on the CPI, because why I don't know why I got 117.43 on the CPI for 2010.
What did you use as your base rate? What
The
year?
base rate of
They didn't give us a base, but I guess it doesn't matter, right? You can use any of them for a base rate.
no, you have to use
No, the same one.
yeah.
Yeah, as long as you use the same one for all of them, right?
Yeah.
So the CPI I got for 2010 was 129.20. Or it was 127. I can't read my handwriting, but
Yeah, I got 129.2.
okay, then that's what I got.
Well, okay, so when whoops, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh yeah. So maybe I hate this stupid thing. Okay.
The like the formulas are so similar, it's hard to get them confused, or it's easy to get them confused.
Right. So the basket price divided by the base year.
So the only difference is when you do the inflation rate, you're using the last year before the year that you're doing. With the CPI, you're using the base year, like the total base year.
Okay.
So you would always use 2008 with the CPI. But with
I know
the
I
inflation
divided
rate-
it by the year before instead of the base year. That was dumb.
Right. Okay.
Gotcha.
So this will be like using like almost the formula as the real GDP from the previous chapter, right? Because we used to use the base year instead of the previous year.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, like if you can relate it to it.
Right.
So on On the inflation though, it's the current year minus the year before it though, right? It doesn't use the base year. Is that right?
So the inflation rate, if you were doing 2010, it would be 2010 CPI minus 2009 CPI over 2009 CPI times 100%.
Okay. Gosh. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Oh, see, but I still got what? I do not understand. Oh my gosh.
So wait, where are you at? Where are you getting it wrong?
So to do the inflation, I got the right one for year 2009. I got 10.03. But then when I do the last year, right? So it's 219 for the price in the basket minus the year before, which was 186.50, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divided by right?
Divided by 186.
Right. Oh no, that has to be the base year, right? For the CPI, it's the base year. No.
Oh, you're trying to find the CPI. Yeah, it would be the base year. So it'd be
but it's just divided.
219 divided by 169.5 times 100.
Okay.
So I actually did the same thing as you.
129.20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you subtract that for the inflation from the year before for the CPI.
Yeah, so then it'd be 129.20 minus 110.03 over 110.03 times 100%. And then with that math, your inflation rate should be 17.43.
Oh my heck. Yeah. I hate this class. Sorry. I hated micro. I hate macro. It's terrible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so
Okay.
you're on 9.
Let me read number 9.
Yep.
If the price index was 90 in year 1100 in second year and 95 in the third year, then the economy experienced I have C.
I have
D.
I have D.
11.1%. Those are very, very similar.
Yeah, I have D because it's a deflation because it's going from 100 to 95. So it'd be a deflation.
Yeah, the answers are the same, except one says inflation, the other one says deflation.
But
that's the only difference, huh?
Yeah.
But it's with year one at 90%, right? But then it goes up to 100%. So that would be inflation. Because year one, 90 going up to 100, that's inflation.
No,
Right.
yeah. So 90 to 100, yeah. So that's why it'd be D
Yeah.
because 11.1 inflation, but then it's 5% deflation.
Deflation because it decreases.
Yeah. But it only increased 10%. It didn't increase 11.1.
No, it increased 11.1% because
How?
if you find the price index, if you use the price index to find the percent inflation, it'd be 11.1.
What? But it says the price index is 90.
Yeah, so I don't remember how I did this, but I remember doing it, and I thought the same thing as you at first, and I was just gonna put A or B, or whichever one it was, but then I ended up doing like math with it.
So how do you do the math?
Yeah,
I guess I don't understand where. I mean, if it tells you the price index is 90, and then it goes up to 10, or I mean to 100, then that's 10%. Like, I don't understand how that changes to 11.1.
So you do 100 minus 90, which is 10. And then you divide that by 90, and that gives you 0.111%. And then you have to times that by 100, which would give you the 11.1%.
Right, so it's that same thing for inflation.
Oh, the inflation. Oh my gosh.
Because you're using the price index, not the basket. Thank you, Nicole, I was trying to go back in my mind.
So then it goes back down 5%, like
Yeah.
And that's not a weird number either?
No, so it's not weird because
No.
if you do the math out, it just becomes 5.
That's 5.
Okay. I'm going to have to do the math on that. Try and figure it out. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That's why I had to have a tutor in micro. Just saying.
You should go and get a tutor. I did that last week.
Oh, you're breaking up,
They're
Jose.
pretty good. So they're basically students, but
Yeah, I had one in micro. She was great. I needed it.
You know, my last class, we had a TA on the class, and she did weekly reviews,
Yeah.
and then prior to test reviews, and that helped me so much because I realized in this test that there's some stuff from the first week that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 10.
yes. Did we lose him?
Jose, you still there?
I don't think he's there.
Oh, he fell off.
He must be restarting it, maybe.
You guys want me to go?
Sure.
Should we get him back? Or?
Which of the following statements best represents economists' beliefs about the bias in the CPI as a measure of the cost of living?
I have D.
I have D.
Yeah, me too.
So
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
All right, so 11. If the quality of a good deteriorates while its price remains the same, then the value of $1. And
I have C.
I put C as well.
hi, sorry, my computer died. I thought plugged it in, but the thing that goes in the middle, the charger, wasn't plugged.
So Jose, for number 10, we got D, and number 11, we got C.
Okay.
So now we're on number 12.
Okay, thanks for continue. So D and C, yeah, I have C as well for number 11. That's good. Okay, which of the following is the most accurate statement? Well, that one, to be honest, I wasn't like, I had no clue on it. Because
I
I don't
got
get
B.
information.
I put B. I found it in the book.
I
Yeah.
put B.
In the book.
Yeah, I did B also.
I put A, but to be honest, I just guessed that one because I figured like we don't have much information about it, and I kind of based on statistically, like because on 1980 the interest rate was super high back then. It was like 17% or something like that. So kind of was based off that, but I don't know if they were asking that on the facts that happen in real life or just something that they made up.
It wasn't real life,
think
but it was in the textbook, like word for word.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the primary purpose of measuring the overall level of prices in the economy is to allow for the comparison of dollar figures from different points in time.
That's what I put too.
C.
C, yeah, me too.
C for 13, right?
Right.
Okay,
I put C.
I have C too.
Cool. Okay, here's the real cruddy one.
Yeah.
Okay, Megan's salary for 3 consecutive years, along with other values, are presented in the table below. So it's 2011, 65,000, 2012, 72,000, 2013, 76,000. And the consumer price index is 226, 230, and 235. And real interest rate, 2.5%, 2.7%, and 1.8%. And okay, refer to this table. Suppose the consumer price index for 2013 is not necessary. It's 235. If the nominal interest rate for 2013 is 7.3%, then the consumer price index for 2013 is,
I'll
and
put C.
So how did you get that?
Okay,
Yeah, can
so
you walk us through that?
the equation to set it up is nominal interest rate equals real interest rate, and this is all for 2013, plus inflation rate.
Plus inflation.
And then you plug in, so it'd be 7.3 for the nominal, and then it would equal 1.8 for the real interest, and then add X. And then basically you just solve from X for there. So it ends up being inflation rate is 5.5%. And then basically you take inflation rate. What was that?
Where'd you get the nominal interest rate? Oh,
So,
they tell us it. Okay.
yeah, it's 7.3. It's in the problem.
And you
And then-
subtracted the inflation rate? Or did you figure the inflation rate out?
No, so you figure out the inflation rate by subtracting 1.8 from 7.3 because the problem is nominal equals real plus inflation. And so it'd be, you would put 7.3 in for nominal, like it says in the problem. And then in the table for the year 2013, it says 1.8. So you'd plug that in for the real interest rate. And then you would just plug in X for inflation rate. And then you would solve for it. So the inflation rate for 2013 would give you 5.5%. And then from there, basically you just plug that into the equation like we have done. And so it'd be, you would put in 230. So it'd be CPI for 2013 minus 230 divided by 230. So like you would put those in parentheses and then divide it by 230. And then put 0.055 on the other side. Does that make sense? Hold on, let me.
you can share your screen if you want to, and you can just do it.
So and then it divide by 230.
Let me stop sharing my screen.
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna put it into this. So this is like the equation that you end out with.
So you're basically solving for X again for CPI.
Correct.
Okay.
And then basically once you find that, so you would obviously do 230 times 0.055 plus 230, and then you would get 242.65, which rounds up to 242.7.
That makes sense.
So that took me a while and an Excel sheet to figure it out. So
Yeah, I like to use Excel for this type of things. It's way easier.
I don't have like the full version of Excel though. I have that online version, so it's like way more cruddy and hard to work with. But
You can.
Yeah, so I don't think I got that. So.
You know what? You can actually download from the
Yeah,
BYU.
from the school
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, you just go there and on the bar, the search bar, just put Microsoft Office or whatever, and then just download it, and it's free.
oh, really? Because I've been using like the Microsoft Online thing.
Oh no,
Yeah, we get it for the students.
That's good to know.
I think you just go to the bookstore.
I just transferred this semester, so bear with me.
Except get bring a little dump drive or something, because if you switch computers in your or your 4 years or whatever, then you can't get it back, or you have to pay for it again or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
That was worth it.
So is everyone good on 14?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what
Not
letter
really.
was that? It
The
was B?
answer is C.
Yeah. C, right? Okay. Okay, one more table. Will expenditures on food for 3 consecutive years, along with other values, are presented in the table below. 2009, 2010, 2011, and it gives us the how much he spent: 5,500, 5,800, and 6,600. Consumer price index 160, 168, and for 2011 is an X.
What did you guys get for the X? Or did you
Oh.
figure it out?
No, well, I didn't.
This one was difficult for me.
I didn't even get to pass this one, past 14.
So I thought you had to figure out the base year first. So I tried to figure that out. I don't know what I'm doing now. So it's terrible.
Okay, suppose will 2009 food expenses in 2011 dollars amount to 5,670. So
So
basically,
basically, they want us to figure out like the salary. You know, like they showed in the book with the salary, how it changes, like what something's worth in that year. You know, or whatever.
Right. So they want us to
Compared to the year before,
exchange.
right?
If I'm right. So they want us to exchange this 6,600 to 5,670.
Well, not necessarily though, because they want like for 2009 food expenditures in 2011 would be 5670. So that means that $670 difference between 5,000 and 5670 is what the right? How much it's valued at in 2011. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how much the 2009 would be. But then it
Right.
just says then, and that's what is throwing me off. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things
Horrible.
that could happen.
So horrible. And none of the answers make any sense, but
I don't think so. It's obviously not C to me.
C or D?
Oh wait, no, never mind. Because, well, yeah, it definitely wouldn't be D because it's talking about 2010 there. Wait, or maybe it could be.
I don't. It's so like
I don't know.
terrible.
Okay, 2009 food expenditures in 2011 dollars amount to 5,670. Why is it always number 15?
Right. Oh. Hmm. See, I thought that we would have to use that that formula that they used for the money.
With the T?
Yeah, the amount in today's dollar equals the amount, you know, that one. But I couldn't figure out how to make it work.
But then, like, even then, like, it's giving us multiple different. All the answers are like different type of answers to find.
Yeah.
so
then
it's not this formula right here?
you have to figure them all out to figure out which one they're wanting. Yeah, that's the one I thought too, that they were going off of. So to figure that out with that, you have to figure out what the CPI is for all 3 years, right? But even
So are we plugging? I'm misunderstanding. Are we plugging 5,670 in for 5,000?
no, because I mean, you have to use that other formula to figure that out. But they don't give you a base year. And in that formula, well, I guess you don't have, I don't know. It says to use the price level in the year that you're trying to figure out, and then today's price level. So is that means the CPI. So that means you have to figure out the CPI for 2011. But how do you figure that out if you don't have the base year, right? So then I thought, okay, you have to figure out what the base year is. Is that right?
Ugh.
Because to figure out CPI, you have to have the price of the current year divided by the price of the base year. And if it's the base year, it's going to be 100%. Is that right?
Yeah, always the base year is always 100. That is correct.
So that means that they're using some base year that's not even on there. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I should figure out what the base year is so you can take the CPI of one of the other ones and figure out the base year.
Wait, no, because the current year, the CPI, well.
Yeah, price of the current year divided by the price of the base year to get the CPI.
I just don't even know where to start.
I know.
We can always ask him and send him an email.
He never even responded to us last time, did he?
He responded on the chat or on the questions and answer group. He responded there and he put like a small video regarding question number 15.
He did.
That
one.
And also, you know, I noticed I went back to the video and he explained it in the first video that he put in there.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll explain that one in there too. And I just
Hold on. So 6,600.
Think so.
Well, that's 132. That doesn't even make sense. That does not even make sense. So if you do 6,600 for the current year, so does the expenditures on food would count as the basket?
That's what I don't understand. What he uses the basket.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I figured out the base year from 2009. I used that one first. Would be 3125, because that's what it would take to get to
160.
But guess what? It doesn't work on the 2010 year. So you put that in as the base year to check it with the CPI, and it does not work.
Well, even when you try to run the consumer price index for just the table and try to find X by itself, just trying to find X, you get like 132, which makes no sense because it's going up. So the consumer price index would rise.
Yeah, and you can't get but you can't even get the consumer price without the base year. So it doesn't matter. I mean, that's like irrelevant until you figure out what the base year is.
Well, I just figured the base year was like 5,000, like the rest of the problems are. So I just tried to do 6,600 divided by 5,000 and then multiply by 100, but it gets you 132, which doesn't make sense with the corresponding consumer.
I tried that first too, and then I thought, well, maybe I have to do that 100% thing to get the base year. But none of that didn't work either. So
hold on, let me try that. Yeah. This is absolutely crazy.
It's horrible. Should we just skip it?
Let's
now.
come back to it.
Maybe we'll have a revelation between now and then.
Okay. If the CPI was 95 in 1955 and is 475 today, then $100 today purchase the same amount of goods and service as.
I got B as in boy.
I didn't get to this one.
I wasn't
Oh
sure.
wait, what number are we on?
16.
I'm still
Thi-
stuck on 15.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain is not. What did you guys get?
I got B as in boy.
I got B as well.
So
Yeah,
did you just use what? How did you figure that out?
I think it's where this one is the one that we plug in like the old year with the new year and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? Like this formula right here. Like the amount in today's date dollar,
Yeah,
the amount in the
That's
year T.
that's a formula you use.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
use-
Okay.
Yeah, so I got 100 equals X, because we don't know what the amount in that year is, times 475, which is the price level today, divided by the price level back then, which was 95. And once you work it all out, I got 20, but
Okay.
Okay. Next one. You know what? You know that a candy bar cost 5 cents in 1962. You also know that CPI for 1962 and the CPI for today. Which of the following will you use to compare the price of the candy bar in today's price?
I put A.
5 cents.
I put A also.
and I got C. Because on the formula it says that it's the price level today divided by the price level of whatever you're looking for. So today's price divided by yeah. So it says amount in today in money equals the amount in T year. So whatever year you're trying to figure out times the price level today divided by the price. Yeah. Right?
Hold on, but the 5.
Like that thing. I don't know if that's the equation. Right?
I think you might be right.
I mean, so it has to be 5 cents then times today's divided by the other.
It's definitely not B or C.
Seems like
Oh,
C.
sorry. It's definitely not B or D. I mean,
I think that's on 11-2A.
yeah, I think you're right, Melissa. Because if you look at the problem on his
So it's C as in Charlie.
yeah, because I think so it's amount in today's dollars. So that's what we're trying to find, and then we know that it was 5 cents in 1996. So obviously that would be the price in year T. You also know the CPI for 1962 is yeah, C.
Okay, the next one. Is everybody okay with C?
Yeah.
Will's expenditures on food for the 3 consecutive years, along with other values, are presented in the table below. I think we already did this one, but it's just probably the same amounts and stuff, right? Refer to the table to the nearest dollar. Will's 2010 food expenditures in $2009 amounts to, and then I just didn't get to those. I couldn't make it.
I just used that same equation that's up above.
What did you get?
I got C.
C?
I got C as well.
Because you take so they give you, yeah, and you're trying to figure out what that amount in that year, the future year or the past year, whatever it's supposed to be. So you can put in today's dollar amount, which is 5,800, equals X times your CPI of your price level today, which we know is 168, divided by your 2009 CPI, which is 160. So then once you do the equation, I came up with 5,523 and 81 cents. So rounded up, it's 524.
Okay, thank you. Is everybody okay with C?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. If the nominal interest rate is 4% and the real interest rate is 2.5 minus 2.5%, then the inflation rate is, I think it's B, I think.
I put A.
Because it's gonna be that same equation at the bottom of the PowerPoint. That's nominal interest rate. So real interest rate equals nominal interest rate minus inflation.
Yeah.
So for real interest rate, you would plug in negative 2.5, and then for nominal interest rate, you would plug in 4, and then you would solve for X being inflation.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one. Suppose that over the past years, the real interest rate was 6% and the inflation rate was 4%. It follows that. No, I didn't have that one.
I put D.
I put D also.
The dollar value of saving increased at 10% and the purchasing power of saving increased at 6%.
6 plus 4 is 10, and then the savings increase would just be 6% because inflation, only interest rate's going to apply to that.
So why did you add them together? Because your interest rate is 6% for the real, inflation is 4.
Because there's a difference between, that's just what the difference between like the dollar value of savings is versus the purchasing power.
So did you do the equation?
Hold on, my book logged me out.
I did the equation from a nominal rate of 10%. Is that what you guys said?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't want to do that. Nicole, do you remember how you got it?
I just added them together. I don't remember exactly the equation.
Me neither. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, so the real interest rate, so it's going to be the real interest rate. I did this. I did the real interest rate equals the nominal interest rate minus the inflation rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 6 equals x minus 4.
Yeah. Okay.
And then to figure x, you'd have to add 4 to 6 and get 10.
Right.
Yeah, I got that too. But
Are you asking about the second part?
yeah, maybe I don't know. So the dollar value of saving and purchasing power. How do we know the difference? Okay, saving would be the full 10%. Is that? And then purchasing is just the actual money that you have after inflation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the real interest rate was the only thing that would apply to the purchasing power. Because so I actually kind of I could be completely wrong in this thinking, but like I just kind of thought about it logically, like in the way like interest rates work compared to how inflation rates work with purchasing.
Because I would think it'd be opposite. Because if, well, no, because.
Well, I also knew that like it wasn't C because I already knew that it wasn't 2%. Like 2% had nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
that doesn't fit.
And I knew that the first one was 10%. And so that being said,
Yeah. That's how I got mine.
Okay.
Okay, should we go back to number 15 or should we just ask the professor on the discussion board?
I don't want to be that group that asks him questions every week.
I can be the one that asks every week.
That's his job. I don't care if we have to ask him.
Yeah, I guess so. That's fine.
Out. He's our professor. If I was in class, I would go ask him, like, what the crap is going on here?
Yeah.
Also, he has office hours. They're from like 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm meeting with a tutor tomorrow from 8 to 9, and I'm going to ask him about number 15.
Okay.
So I don't understand it, so I can let you guys know.
Yeah.
Also.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did last week, and actually they were very helpful.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So
we recorded this meeting, right?
Yeah, it's live.
Okay. Just making sure. Probably the worst question to ask at the end, but.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right, I'll post the link.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Have a good week.
Okay. Thanks, Karina.
Bye.
Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
bye.